And welcome to Fort Worth, Texas, and the Great American Speedway, the Texas Motor Speedway, for the penultimate race in the 2013-2014 Real Sim Racing Icebreaker Winter Series. And tonight, the second to last race is going to be at the Texas Motor Speedway, set for 130 laps, which is 195 miles around this 1.5-mile racetrack. And that will set us up for the season finale next week. Hello, everybody. Thank you for tuning in live on LSRTV. My name is Em Pasoko, again up in the broadcast booth this evening. Kyle Tarasca, and Kyle, we saw last week at Indianapolis, we saw an exciting race, and tonight should be no different in Texas.
Yeah, last week we saw a lot of single-file racing, but at the end it really got hairy with those three-wide racing, as we saw involved with Jose Gonzalez and Mark Bratcher and Dwayne Vincent battling for the lead going into turn 3. Expect a lot of the same tonight. The draft will be key. Expect a lot of blocking, three-wide racing. Should be exciting for all the fans on LSRTV this evening.
And we talked about that last race last week at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Brickyard, and we'll give you guys a quick rundown of how that race shook out. It was Chad Cole going to victory lane. Dwayne Vincent still searching for the first win on this campaign and could not get it done. Came home at a second position. Rhett McBride coming home in third. Harrison Weidlitz finishing in the fourth position in the number 7 machine, and Matt Lacrosse is rounding out the top 5 with a solid finish in his machine.
Yeah, and Jose Gonzalez finished 6th, Brendan Mercer was 7th, Scott Simley in 8th, AJ Browning in 9th, and Jason W. White rounded out the top 10 last week in Indy.
And then we look at the point standings into this evening, and a couple things have been shuffled around as we set up for the final 2 races in this season now with 2 to go. Bobby Terrell still up at the top of the points lead, but only 14 points over Chad Cole in the second position. Dwayne Vincent almost on the outside looking in at this point, 35 points back in the third position, nearly a race behind. Jose Gonzalez not mathematically out of it quite yet, but 45 points and only 2 races to go is going to be a tough feat for him. He is 4th in the championship standings, and he also have Brendan Mercer in the 5th position, only 60 points back from point leader Bobby Terrell up front.
And the story of the night is going to be that points battle between Bobby Terrell and Chad Cole. A mere 14 points separate them. And if race fans, if you remember what happened last week in Indianapolis, Bobby Terrell could not make the event. Harrison Weidlitz actually subbed for him, driving his car in the event last week, scoring points for him. Didn't fare as well as what they hoped. Chad Cole did end up winning that race, gained a whole bunch of points on the Bobby Terrell, and now just 14 points separate. That's 14 positions on the track, not including bonus points, separate these two, with 2 races left in the season here at Texas and Las Vegas. Evan, it's going to be very exciting to see how these 2 guys duke it out over 130 laps on the 1.5-mile speedway of Texas Motor Speedway.
Yeah, we talked about the Texas Motor Speedway, the Great American Speedway, as it's called, located in Fort Worth, Texas. The track itself, an asphalt surface, 1.5 miles in length, 4 turns and banking at 24 degrees. And we talked about the championship battle. A couple drivers, not really all the way up there in points, but some guys in the top 10 not going to be here. Steven Almindo is substituting for CJ LaVere. Josh Chaney is filling in for John Wilco, and Stefan Marinak filling in for Frank Kuhn. So those are 3 substitutions in this evening's race, and we look, and still a change here to RSR. This is the second week that we've seen it, Kyle, up here, and it's the second time that they've done it, and that is this new qualifying format that they're doing based on the changes in the procedure that NASCAR has announced, and that is, instead of going out all by themselves individually in the sim and putting down 2 laps, these guys have been going for the past 15 minutes and have 5 more laps to go out there with everybody else out there on the racetrack to put down the fastest qualifying time in what is now an open qualifying session.
Yeah, and what timing to start this group qualifying session. And one of the most tense parts of the season, you make qualifying 10 times more tenser than what originally was. At one time, it was just going out on the track, you're all by yourself, you do 1 lap, you put down the best lap you can, and then wherever you line up, you line up. Now comes on to strategy. It's all about timing. When you go onto the track, the separation between you and the car ahead of you, is it worth the draft or not? And as of right now, it looks like Chad Cole's going to try to make a statement. He's on the pole right now, but still with 4 minutes left in the session, anything could happen.
And then Bobby Terrell, the championship points leader, is up there in the qualified as it sits right now, provisionally sitting in the 5th position. And a whole different point scenario than it was last week going into tonight. Again, after tonight's race, the penultimate race, we go on to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway next week, and that wraps things up here. And next thing we know, we look at the top of the point standings, and only 14 points separating Terrell up front and Chad Cole in the 2nd position. You mentioned Chad Cole going to come in tonight and try to make a statement, sitting with the fastest time in qualifying at this point. Now, unlike most qualifying sessions before they went to this open one, at this point, everyone's put down their laps. So you mentioned anything can still happen, but Chad Cole definitely the fastest at this point, and the lap that he threw down is faster than any of the ones that he threw down in the practice session earlier in this evening's race. So we really need to look forward. 2 races, 14 points. That's not a lot of comfort zone for Terrell up front. How does he have to approach this race and then the final race in order to defend that championship up front?
Terrell, you have to be conservative. You really can't attack and take too many chances at this point. 14 points is not a large margin, but it is a large enough margin where you can control your own destiny right now. As we see Terrell, he's got a 14-point lead. Chad Cole's going to be very aggressive tonight. He has to take chances. He has to go out, lead every single lap, and win the race. Terrell, if he could just finish in the top 5, that should give him a big enough comfort zone where unless something drastically happens at Las Vegas next weekend, he should be able to come home with the championship in the RSR Icebreaker Series.
And Chad Cole is definitely capable of getting that victory. 3 so far on the season. Bobby Terrell up atop the points has 1 win, and as qualifying starts to round down, we're going to go down trackside now for the opening ceremonies and the national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
And back live here at the Texas Motor Speedway as the pre-race ceremony is wrapping up, and the final guys out on the racetrack try to put up the last time that they can, as most of them come down to the pit lane as we get set for 195 miles and 130 laps around the Great American Speedway here at the Texas Motor Speedway. Again, we've been talking about the championship battle between Bobby Terrell, Chad Cole, Dwayne Vincent in third, starting to slip away, 35 back with only 2 races remaining, and we take a look forward to tonight's race as time winds down and these guys start to hit the grid. This is going to be a crucial race. Chad Cole's going to need to be on the attack. Bobby Terrell needs a solid finish in the 7 machine. As these guys hit the grid, we're going to take you down through our starting order. On the pole is going to be the number 8 machine of Chad Cole with a time of 29.594, so he actually improved that in those closing minutes of the qualifying session. EJ O'Rourke in a 41 machine going to be starting in the 2nd position. 04 Stefan Marinak starting in the 3rd place. He's substituting for Frank Coons. Rhett McBride at the 15 machine going to be starting in 4th. and Scott Stenzel in the 42 rounded out the top 5.
And points leader, Bobby Terrell, he's going to start on the outside of row 3 in position number 6. Jose Gonzalez, major player from last week, he's going to start 7th. Dwayne Vincent in 8th. Jason W. White in 9th. And Matt Lacrosse in the 10th position.
AJ Browning in the 5 machine, going to be starting in 11th. Mark Bratcher in the 38, starting in P12. The 4 of Steven Almendo going to start in the unlucky number 13th starting position. Doug Roth in the 43 machine, going to be starting in 14th. And Scott Simley in the 68, starting 15th.
And Brian Harvey's going to start off in the 16th position. Doug Manning in 17th. Chad Schilling in 18th. Bruce Perry in 19th. And Josh Cheney's going to round out the top 20 tonight.
21st belonged to the 92 of Jason Lester. Kevin Linden in the 48 starting in 22nd. Nathan Bowers in the 03 machine starting 23rd. Stephen Maddox in the 91 starting in 24th position. And Rich Jett in the 36 machine going to roll off 25th.
And to round out the field here tonight at the Great American Speedway, Al Smith Jr. is going to start 26th, Brendan Mercer 27th, Luis Rodriguez is going to qualify in the 28th position, Keith Brooks Jr. in 29th, and Jose Malbran in 30th. Douglas Wyatt will start 31st, and shotgun on the field will be the number 98 of Stephen Herring.
So 31 drivers going to take time in a qualifying session, and 32 of them are going to hit the grid for this evening's event as 130 laps is on the board as the field now starts to roll away behind the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. They're going to do one circuit around, and once we come back out of turn number 4 is when we are going to drop the green flag. Chad Cole on pole position is going to try to run away with this race, and you talked about seeing 2-3 wide. This is a very wide racetrack, and these cars, definitely the Nationwide, the Impala B class, and the Mustangs as well, very, very racy at a track like this.
And as wide as the track is, the exits to the corners really narrow up. A very sweeping corner here in turns 2 and 4 at the Texas Motor Speedway. The banking from the turn to the straightaway really flattens out rather quickly here, really causing the cars to slide up and not giving the guys a lot of grip here on the exits of the corners. It's easy to go into the corner 3 wide, but it's going to be very difficult to come out of it 3 wide, and even 2 wide for that matter. It's going to be... Let's see what's going to happen here in the opening laps. How these guys are going to be able to cycle themselves out. It's not like Indianapolis where it's only a one-groove racetrack. You can make the outside work here if you got the right setup. So we're going to see what happens here. And 130 laps from now, maybe the championship picture is going to look a whole lot different than what it does right now, Evan.
We're going to see how this thing shakes out as the field working at a turn number 4. The Ford First Racing Mustang pace car getting set down to the safety of the pit lane field in the hands of Chad Cole in the 8 machine. They're going to wait behind him. Everybody scrunches up behind. The 8 is on the loud pedal. The green flag is out, and we're racing at the Texas Motor Speedway. Chad Cole to a lead with the 41 machine of E.J. O'Rourke staying on the top lane. He's going to now slide inside behind Chad Cole. Single file for the bottom lane now as the top 3 single file out. 15 of Rhett McBride sliding back up top. That's side by side for about 5th with the 26 of Jose Gonzalez.
And the battle is on for a 5th. Bobby Terrell's trying to look for some positioning down there in the 7 car. He's going to fall in line behind McBride. Dwayne Vincent in the 2 is going to stay behind him, but Dwayne Vincent is door-to-door for the position coming off of 4.
You got the 21 machine of Matt Lacrosse on the outside lane, almost trying to sneak up and get next to Terrell there. Terrell takes the high corner entry. 21 going to go up the hill and out of the groove. We're going to allow the 2 machine of Dwayne Vincent to get around him, and now coming off the corner, Vincent is going to be able to clear that 21 machine. So those guys going to single file out more side by side inside the top 3. The 42 machine is side by side with the 8 of Chad Cole as Chad Cole sliding back, going to go all the way from the lead position after some trouble, and this time by the start finish line, Chad Cole going to be scored around the 5th spot as he's behind the 26 of Gonzalez, now trying to squeak in line with the 15 of Rhett McBride right on his back bumper at it too.
The championship contender of Chad Cole, who is our pole sitter, he's been dropping like a rock since the green flag waved on this race. He did not lead the first lap. That went to the arms of E.J. O'Rourke, and ever since then he had to fall back in the line in 3rd, and then Scott Stenzel looking a little bit racy. He took the position from him, and then Jose Gonzalez followed suit. Chad Cole's going to fall into the 5th position here, but right into the clutches of Bobby Terrell. If Terrell could see the 8 car in his sights, then he has no worries with the championship battle at this time.
Yeah, they're going side by side behind him. Out at the 2 of Dwayne Vincent taking a look to the inside of Bobby Terrell down the back straightaway and into turn number 3 is unable to get it done. One driver who has not had the most stout start that he's looking for, Matt Lacrosse, actually sitting 9th. He started 10th so he hasn't lost any ground, but he did make up a couple spots on the opening lap and has had some trouble being able to hang on to those spots. And we take a look at the 21 right now, the 5 machine of A.J. Browning going to get to his inside in the corner. 38 machine of Bratcher going to push up as well, so the 5 of Browning's going to pick up 2 spots through 1 and 2 and advance his position up to the 9th spot. Side by side now up at the front of the field, the 04 of Stefan Marinak going to make a nice clean pass, and 41 of E.J. O'Rourke back to the 2nd position, and Stefan Marinak going to lead him at turn number 4, and this time by the stripe. 04 is going to be P1 on the scoring pylon.
And that side-by-side battle is going to continue in a turn run with O'Rourke getting a run to the inside. Scott Stenzel is going to try to follow him. O'Rourke looks to the inside. They're door-to-door off of the corner. Stenzel looks to go 3 wide in the middle, but he's going to stay behind the 41. 41 cannot clear the 04 yet. He's going to try to do so off of turn 4.
41 trying to find grip out of bottom lane. 04 to Marinak with a wiggle. 42 machine's got to run. That's Scott Stenzel. Stenzel going to push the 41. Maybe look 3 wide. He's going to stay on the bottom lane. 26 of Gonzalez looking like he wants to go with the bottom lane as well now as we go into turn number 1. The 26 needs to decide what line he wants to take. The 04 to Marinak is holding on for dear life on the top lane, but the 42 machine going to get around him. Does the 26 of Gonzalez go to the inside? He does. 42 is going to come down and block and nearly contact in the turn number 3 as the 42 is going to shut the door on Jose Gonzalez, and they continue to go side by side as the 04 of Marinak trying to hang on for that 2nd position. Stenzel's going to clear him at the stripe.
That was a very defensive line by Scott Stenzel down the back straightaway. He was already battling with the 04, really did not look to go 3 wide. That was almost like maybe a blessing for the 26. Might have been a little bit too much of an aggressive move here in the early stages at Texas, so maybe that was a good thing, but in the end, Scott Stenzel very aggressive here in the early stages. And then one other thing you noticed, when E.J. O'Rourke was going for the lead, Stenzel was pushing him with the draft. That, as much as that helped him, it hurt him. When a car, we talked about last week with the aero push, we'll talk about aero looseness. When the car gets behind, when the 2nd car in line gets behind the leader and gets the air off of that spoiler, it makes that lead car very loose. Again, losing traction in the rear, making it very difficult to pass. Made it a little bit more difficult for E.J. O'Rourke to get around the 04 Amerinik in the corners, but as we see, it all worked out well.
And they continue to shuffle for position now, and everybody in the top 10 is going to single file out for the first time in this affair as they've been continuously battling around the 8 machine of Chad Cole. You see Chad in the 5th position right now after starting this race on the pole. He's behind the 04 of Stefan Marinak, who is substituting for Frank Coons in tonight's event, and now the 8 of Chad Cole going to go to the inside in turn number 3, and they're going to go door to door at it through the corner. 15 and behind them, that's Rhett McBride looking to see what makes out of this. 04 pushes up the racetrack a little bit. They're going to be side by side and door to door out of the corner by the stripe. Maybe a slight advantage going to be belonging to, I want to say that it was the 04 on the top lane of Marinak, barely, but Cole's going to get it down the inside. 04 going to slide back. The 15 of Rhett McBride is going to scoot on by, and here comes the 7 machine of Bobby Terrell sitting in 7th. He's going to go to the inside as well on Marinak through 3.
It is the first time within the first 10 laps of the event we've really seen Terrell really make a move. Kind of is what we were talking about earlier. We expect Terrell, as the 04 gets into the wall but keeps it straight, we expect Terrell just to say, try to stay in his comfort zone here, not really push the issue, not put himself in a position where a potential wreck can happen, or at least try to prevent that from happening. So by doing that, he's just really trying to ride where he is right now. Again, Chad Cole was started on the pole, did not lead the lap 1 here at Texas, trying to get those points back, but in the meantime, the 26 of Gonzalez is on the inside of Stenzel, and it's a pretty decent battle here coming off of turn 4 back to the stripe.
Yeah, the 26 of Gonzalez searching for grip on the bottom lane, and he's not going to have the greatest run down the stretch. You see the 8 of Cole give him a little bit of a bump down the front straightaway, and now into the corner. 42 way up the hill. Scott Stenzel having some trouble in 1 and 2. Definitely did not get the corner that he wanted. He's going to brush the wall out of the corner. 26 is going to go on by. The 8's going to clear him as well. 15 of Rhett McBride now to the inside in the corner as the 42 looks to try to squeeze in line, but the 7 machine championship leader Bobby Terrell is there. The 42 is not going to be able to get in line this time now by the front straightaway. He can't clear that 7 machine quite yet into the corner, so the 42 machine of Stenzel going to go all the way from 2nd position and continue to drop after he just butchered that corner entry there that last time by, going side by side, and he's going to drop all the way back to around 7th as Dwayne Vincent now on his inside.
and he's going to fall back in line to 7th position. But in the meantime, the chase is on for the lead. During all that excursion at a side-by-side racing for 7th, EJ O'Rourke has been driving off into the sunset with a half a second lead over the stretch of that duration of the pass between the 26 of Gonzalez and the 42 of Stenzel. So now it's a matter of Chad Cole and Gonzalez drafting off each other, working together to try to catch up and back to the 41 and maybe take over the lead. And maybe Chad Cole will finally be able to get that very crucial bonus point here for leading a lap.
Josh Cheney in the 62 machine got to drop back to 18th after he drove through the grass down that front straightaway the last time by and was able to hang on to it, lost a couple of positions when he got loose there, and went through the grass into turn number 1, stayed on the inside, was able to keep it pointed the right direction. So no harm, no foul back there, side by side, back up at the front of the pack. The 26 of Gonzalez side by side as the 15 of Rhett McBride is going to try to challenge with him for the 3rd spot. And here comes the 7 machine of Bobby Terrell to the inside. Can he get there in 3 and 4? The 7 Muscle Milk machine of Terrell's going to get to the inside, so he and Gonzalez going to go at it door by door, this time by the front straightaway, and slight advantage to the 7 machine of Terrell as Jose Gonzalez is going to slide back in line through 1 and 2, and Bobby Terrell going to advance that position as they try to look back up now on the 15 machine of Rhett McBride to try to advance their position. Meanwhile, well, this has all been going out EJ O'Rourke after starting in the 2nd spot. And after Chad Cole had that trouble there on lap 2 and slid back, the 41 has just been up front all night long, but the 8 of Chad Cole closing back quick for the P1.
Yeah, Evan, I think that's about to change here in a lap or so. Cole has really got a huge run on the 41, got a little bit loose there on the entry 1, is going to give a little bit back, but here comes, going to try to close up that interval again, try to get a huge run down the hill off of turn 2, carry the momentum down the back straightaway. I think the race is going to be on for the lead, but in the meantime, the race is on for 5th and for 3rd between Vincent, Terrell, the 15, and the 26.
They're going at it, 15 machine of Rhett McBride going to pull in front of the 2 of Dwayne Vincent. Vincent is going to have his little bit of a run that he had stalled out. Does the 15 look to the inside of Terrell? Terrell's going to come sweeping down from the outside wall in 1 and 2 and is able to hang on to that spot. So these guys very, very racy, and they are pushing up at the front of the field. The 8 machine of Chad Cole on the back bumper of O'Rourke there, down the back straightaway, and this time through 3 and 4, you can see the 8 machine is faster. 41's going to push up. 8 is going to look to the inside. There he goes after giving the 41 a little bit of a bump out of 4, and side by side now for the lead 41 machine of EJ O'Rourke going to stick the hand out the window and wave Chad Cole back around. And Chad Cole, after starting on the pole, we saw him drop like a rocket there in the opening laps back up the P1. That could change though. 41 of O'Rourke with a great run out of 2. Going to throw the crossover on him now and into turn number 3 and through 4 side by side. 41 though, can he hang on? It is. The 8 of Chad Cole is going to push up a little bit. 41 is there. It's going to be the 8 with a nose over him at the start-finish line, but EJ O'Rourke battling back for that number 1 spot. He's side by side on the inside.
Very aggressive racing here in the opening laps at Texas. Chad Cole's going to really push up high, something similar to what we saw Stenzel do. He goes way up the track. That gives a position up to Terrell. He's going to try to fall in line here for 3rd place, but Rhett McBride's going to look to his inside, and he's going to get there. So for the 2nd time tonight, we see Chad Cole get the lead, and then again, now he's going to drop back like a rock. May drop back to the 5th, 6th, maybe even 7th position here when it's all said and done.
Side by side is the 8 of Chad Cole again, continuing to have troubles tonight as he has a fast machine, but just continues to have problems and causing him to drop back. And he's side by side with the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez now to the inside, down the back straightaway. They're going to go at it side by side, door to door, into the corner. The 8 of Chad Cole going to pull in line behind the 2-6 machine of Gonzalez through 3 and 4 and drop back to what is now the 6th position on the racetrack as we take a look on board with the 8 machine of Chad Cole. You're looking up at the 26 of Gonzalez right in that windshield right in front of him now through 1 and 2 and taking a look at the left rear, trying to find a way around him. Got a little bit of a run out of the corner. Does he stick the nose out down the back straightaway to make a pass? No, he's just going to push Gonzalez all the way down the back straightaway and into 3.
For the amount of this, it shows you how great of a facility it is here at Texas Motor Speedway. All the aggressive racing that we've seen so far in the opening 20 or 25 laps or so, and not one caution yet. Yeah, we saw one car get into the grass, but he had enough time to straighten it back up and get back going. That was the 62 of Cheney. So in the meantime, Chad Cole's going to get that position on Jose Gonzalez, but the top 4 are all single file. Chad Cole has some ground to make up here. He's about a half second off with a 2-car, Dwayne Vincent in 4th. The draft really means a lot here. It's going to be a matter if he could get a lock on that draft, catch back up to the leaders, and maybe take another stab at the lead here coming to complete lap 24.
Last time by, Brett McBride in the 15, sitting 3rd with the fastest lap on a racetrack, and that definitely means that the 41 of O'Rourke is under attack up front as everybody starting to close in on him now. Terrell with a little bit of a wobble there in 1 and almost opened up the door for the 15 machine of McBride. Now the 2 of Vincent's going to get her on 41's got to check up, so side by side up front. And they're going to go at it side by side for what would be 3rd behind them as for the lead, almost contact with the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke. He's going to have to move up the racetrack. 7 of Bobby Terrell, championship leader, going to go to the lead. Now the 2 machine of Dwayne Vincent going to go to the inside of the 41 of E.J. O'Rourke, and he's got the 8 of Chad Cole in tow through 1 and 2.
And again, here comes O'Rourke. He's going to drop back, similar to what we've seen to Chad Cole. Speaking of Chad Cole, he moves up into the 3rd position. It's Terrell, Vincent, Chad Cole, the top 3. Chad Cole's going to look for more in turn 3 here, but in the meantime, Brett McBride, he's going to clear the pass. Oh, and almost contact there between the 8 and the 2, but they're able to straighten it back up. The field remains single file here as Bobby Terrell takes over the lead and starting to really make a statement here in the championship battle at Texas.
Yeah, we talked about at the beginning of the broadcast that Chad Cole would have to go out here and do everything that he can, get the most laps, lead a lap, and finish in the number 1 spot to really lay the pressure down on Bobby Terrell. And Cole has a fast machine, but Terrell's worked up from his 6th starting position and now finds himself at a number 1 spot. Chad Cole still sitting in 3rd on the racetrack. He's only 14 points back at the championship standings and almost going at it side by side with Dwayne Vincent. Vincent in the 2 machine is the guy sitting 3rd in the championship standings, and Dwayne Vincent, a very fast driver, still looking for his first win on this Icebreaker Winter Series campaign. The 8 machine of Chad Cole's got a run on him side by side for 2nd out of 2.
And Chad Cole's going to go door to door. Should be able to clear the 2 with Dwayne Vincent with ease here. Looks like Vincent's going to try to fall back in line. He will. The 15 could not get there. Now let's keep in mind this points battle. There's 30 cars in this race. Only 35 points back is Dwayne Vincent. A little bit of a long shot right now, but anything could happen to Bobby Terrell. We have over 100 laps to go in this race. Anything could happen. Again, anything could happen. Do not count Dwayne Vincent out of this championship battle just yet.
Definitely for sure he's going to need something to happen though tonight at Texas in order to increase his chances at being in contention moving forward to Las Vegas next week to get a shot at that championship battle. Top 3 starting to pull away a little bit from the pack this time by the stripe, and every time the scoring's going to update, these top 3 have about 0.4 of a second over Brett McBride in the 4th position to the top 3, which is Terrell, Cole, and Vincent, all bumper to bumper. And do we have a pass for the lead coming up? Yes, we do. The 8 of Chad Cole going to stick the nose out now and side by side with the 7 of Bobby Terrell through the corner. Terrell's going to let him go on by, and by doing so is able to get in line and not allow Dwayne Vincent to possibly get to the inside. So Terrell going to wave the 8 on by and able to sneak back into the 2nd spot now as their single file still throughout the top 3. And now Chad Cole in the 8 machine sitting up in the 1st spot. So top 3 in the championship battle, top 3 on the racetrack right now.
Very respectable racing right there between the 7 and the 8. 2 guys fighting for the championship and giving each other plenty of room here. Again, you see Terrell just playing it smart. He's going to give up the position to the 2 of Dwayne Vincent. No need to race him too hard right now when you got a big gap behind you just to fall back in line in the draft. No need to burn up the tires just yet this early into the run. And in the meantime, Chad Cole opens up to about 0.3 of a second lead. Will he be able to hold on to that as the laps continue at Texas?
That's going to be the question as he opens up now a 0.4 of a second lead over the 2nd place machine as Vincent has been able to get around Bobby Terrell. So Terrell now back into the 3rd spot in the 7 machine as everybody else inside of the top 10 single file, and pretty much everybody else on the racetrack single file side by side for the 16th position. The 6 of Bruce Perry is on the outside with the 43 of Doug Roth on the inside. 43 just got real loose at a turn number 4. He's going to have to back it down and is able to hang on to it, but that's going to diminish that side-by-side battle that we had going on the racetrack. So other than that, everybody single file. The caution flag, though, is going to fly. So we're going to slow them on down, group them back up, and try to find the cause of that.
Yeah, looking for the cause on the caution right now. Not really sure yet. Looked like there was an incident in turn 4. Not really sure who it involved. Still looking right now. Looks like maybe it was the 91 of Steven Maddox trying to get another copy on that. Yeah, it looks like him and Kevin. No, not Kevin Linden. Looks like the 66 of Harvey and the 91 of Maddox got together in turns 3 and 4. As we try to get a replay up for you guys. From what I see right here, looks like the 91 of Maddox just overshot the entry of the corner, got into the left rear corner panel of Brian Harvey, putting them both up into the outside retaining wall in the middle of 3 and 4 into that safer barrier. But both drivers able to keep going. Decent amount of looks like more damage to the 91 than the 66. But although aerodynamics are a big deal here at Texas Motor Speedway, I expect both drivers to be able to continue on in the race.
Yeah, definitely repairable damage, and you take a look at the 91, you see the right side damage on his team at Doghouse Chevrolet, and this is going to give us an opportunity to take all of our leaders and throw them down the pit lane, as here they come, led by the 8 machine of Chad Cole, as we enter the pit lane on lap number 34 of 130, so about a quarter of the way through this thing to this point in this race, and a good long green flag run to get things started out this evening. And let's see if the 8 of Chad Cole is able to lead him back off the pit lane, as he's going to go all the way down to the end of pit road, that number 1 pit box for qualifying on pole position. He's going to come down the pit lane, and to the attention of his crew, right side's going to go up on his Chevrolet, and crew's going to go over to the left sides as well, and put the jack back down, cruise out of the way. The 8 machine of Chad Cole with a solid stop has some company. The 2 of Dwayne Vincent's going to get close. The 7 of Terrell's going to challenge very close on the exit of the pit lane, but I do believe it was the 8 machine of Chad Cole barely edging those guys out, and that goes back to the advantage of having that last pit stop.
Yeah, that was a very close race, and if it wasn't for that first pit stall, Dwayne Vincent definitely would have had the lead off of pit road there. Just to give you a quick field rundown of the top 5, it looks like Chad Cole is going to retain the lead here after pit stop number 1. Dwayne Vincent's going to be in 2nd, points leader Bobby Terrell in 3rd, Rhett McBride in 4th, and Jose Gonzalez are going to round out the top 5. The same front players that we've seen all race, but now, instead of being single file for the duration of the race so far, in a couple laps here, we're going to line them up double file restart shootout style, and that's going to really shake up the standings when we get to this restart in about 2 laps or so, Evan.
And we've seen some drivers have some struggles on the top lane, and unlike Indianapolis that you mentioned, this racetrack, you can make that outside lane work, but nobody has done it with some effectiveness to this point in this evening's race. So if you're a guy starting on the outside lane, how are you going to take this restart at attack? And if you're, say, the 2 of Vincent, you're starting 2nd, arguably Bobby Terrell in 3rd's going to get a better jump than you, because he's going to be behind race leader Chad Cole, and that goes back to Chad Cole is going to initiate this restart, and what that means is he has the option from when the pace car hits the pit lane to when the sim actually throws the green flag to go. So he has a very, very big restart box, and he can go at everyone. He can go right away, he can wait, and that's how the leader can really play a strategy into this and kind of mess some guys up. So if you got your teammate around you, he can be communicating with him, and they'll be talking with each other, and that's, you can see these guys really nail some of these restarts. So it'll be interesting to see how they negotiate this. The lights are off on a Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. We're going to go at it side by side in 3 and 4, coming to the green this time by.
Yeah, and you're going to want to be on that inside lane. Bobby Terrell's in a really good spot right now. 2nd place is not where you want to be on a restart, unfortunately, which is kind of odd to hear. Being second place, well, that's just 1 position away from the lead. But when we line up here, like you said, there's a big restart box here to Texas Motor Speedway as we see that first racing pace car get off of the track here. And here comes Chad Cole. He's going to lead him down a little bit of a slow start, but the green flag is back out. Very clean start up in the front. Dwayne Vincent's going to stay side by side with him, even though there's a hole behind him, but Terrell's going to close that gap up entering turn 1.
The 2 machine, Vincent, is going to sneak in line in front of Terrell and race leader Chad Cole coming out of turn number 2. And the top 7 or so single filing out fairly quickly. 41 of EJ O'Rourke going to make it side by side.
Big wreck in the back. Looked like somewhere in the middle of the pack. Looked like maybe the 92. Hard to tell. 92 of Jason Lester. Trying to see what happened there. Looks like he might have came up on the 48 of Kevin Linden down the back straightaway. Bad communication between the driver and the spotters. We're going to try to get the replay up for you guys here. very unfortunate incident. As you can see, coming off of turn 2 to 92 of Lester, he was just holding his line, then he just came up a little bit into the 48, nowhere to go. Had a couple other cars involved, but thankfully only 3 cars involved. Evan, that could have been a lot worse with the field so bunched up on the restart.
They were going at it 3 wide down the back straightaway. The 92 just did not have the 48 machine cleared going down that backstretch, and 48 ends up hooking the 92 into the wall, so 48's going to get some front-end damage. 53 going to get a huge piece of that as he plowed onto that thing and really had nowhere to go, and that's Jose Malbran getting involved in that incident. So tough break for some of those guys, but that could have been a lot bigger than what it actually ended up to be. So those cars involved going to head down to the pit lane, and right after that restart, cautions going to breed cautions, and that statement going to come true here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway, as after but half a lap we're going to slow them back down, group them all back up, and again about a quarter away, actually just past the quarter distance mark in tonight's event. Been pretty racy in these opening laps, so you really got to look forward to, are we going to have any comers and goers, and how intense these guys are going to go at it when it's all said and done. And we're coming to that checkered flag. Chad Cole, Dwayne Vincent, Bobby Terrell, top 3 in the championship standings, top 3 on the racetrack right now. Can they hang on, though, for 90, 91 laps to the checkered flag?
Yeah, it seems like track position means a lot more than what we might have anticipated during the pre-race show. Yes, the draft means a lot, but as the tires wear out, these guys are really able to string something. If they could string something together, they could really pull away maybe packs of 3 and 4 away from the rest of the field. We kind of saw that between Cole, Vincent, and Terrell before that first caution there. Yeah, track position is going to mean everything, and the track position on the restarts especially, as you can see, got a really crazy there about mid-pack with the 92 and the 48 going 3 wide, and then the 53 just nowhere to go. He got involved in that wreck. You would hate to see that happen to one of our championship contenders right now, but one bad pit stop, that could change everything, and that could really put one of those guys in a bad position and maybe put them in a position similar to what the 53 was in when he got caught up in that wreck that was the 92's fault.
Definitely, for sure, on that one. That's one of the great pains, but yet one of the best things about racing when you're going for a championship is we're not just going to throw the 8, the 2, and the 7 out there on the racetrack by themselves. They're going to have to negotiate and work with and work around all these other guys out there on the racetrack, and that's what keeps the championship battle unpredictable and exciting, because in a blink of an eye you can end up head first into that inside wall, and the championship hopes are going to be pretty much dashed at that point unless your competitors have some trouble with only one race to go out of tonight's race, which is Las Vegas, to close out the season. So lights off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. We are doubled up, no difference inside the top 3. Chad Cole going to be P1, Vincent in 2nd, and Bobby Terrell going to be in the 3rd spot. As we're down the back straightaway, we're going to come to the green flag when we take lap number 41 this next time around.
Give it up to E.J. O'Rourke in that Gary Mercer Trucking Ford Mustang. He really made up some ground. I believe he picked up 2 or 3 spots on that restart alone, and I was only around halfway around the track. See, maybe he could continue that pace on this restart. Try to get a jump on the leaders here. Again, you cannot change your lanes before you cross the line, but maybe if he could just time it right. I don't know, Gavin. I think it's a little bit too early with 90 laps to go 3 wide for the lead on a restart. But, hey, this is the Icebreaker Series. Anything could happen.
Yeah, we saw 3 wide back in the back. Here we go at a turn number 4. Pace car going to dive down to the safety of the pit lane, field in the hands of Chad Cole. He's going to wait on it. You see the 41 get up to the back bumper of Vincent. Green flag flies. Chad Cole and the 8 machine going to take off. Vincent is able to squeak down into the 2nd position in line. Now side by side for 3rd. The 41 of O'Rourke trying to hang on, and they're going to stack up. 35 is slow through the field. They're 3 wide, 4 rows deep out of 2. This is going to get real close, but they all keep it pointed the right direction for now. Let's see if they can do it in 3 and 4.
It got really hairy there for Jose Gonzalez in a 26 on that restart in turn 1, and they were 3 by 3 there coming off of turn 2, but they made it work, unlike the last restart. Bobby Terrell didn't get that great of a restart. He falls in line in 3rd. They're gonna come across the line this time by as they were last time by with the restart caution condition. Chad Cole's gonna lead that lap. There's 89 laps to go. Dwayne Vincent's in 2nd, Bobby Terrell in 3rd, but the battle is on for the 7th position with Matt Lacrosse and E.J. O'Rourke.
Yeah, O'Rourke and the 41 machine dropped back in that ordeal and is trying to hang on to it on the outside lane. He has the 21 And the 21's actually going to get around him now, and the 26 of Gonzalez going to get up next to him. Big check up the 5 machine of AJ Browning, slow on the front straightaway, or rather the 15 machine of Rhett McBride, having some trouble out of corner number 4. He had to check up, and everybody had to scramble to get out of his way, and he's going to lose a lot of spots as he drops all the way back well outside of the top 10 on the top lane. Tough break for him, and this has been a pretty wild restart. We got a little bit of pushing going on for the 4th spot. The 5 of AJ Browning is going to get a little bit of a bump from the 42 of Scott Stenzel into the corner. So very, very racy with these guys all throughout the pack here, coming off this most recent green flag. And 41 of O'Rourke's going to try to make up for lost ground, going to the inside of Gonzalez in 1 and 2.
He is indeed going to try to make up for lost ground, and also is going to be Scott Stenzel looking under the 5 of AJ Browning. We got 2 battles side by side down the backstretch. Both of the guys on the inside lane are going to win the battles, 42 and 41. Scott Stenzel moves up into 4th. EJ O'Rourke moves up into 6th, but O'Rourke's going to look for more off of turn 4.
21 had to check up because the 5 machine of Browning nearly chopped him off in 3 and 4, and then nearly opened up the door for the 41 of EJ O'Rourke, and unfortunately he's unable to get it in his Gary Mercer Trucking Ford Mustang, and that's going to open the door for the 26 of Gonzalez. So just after picking up that spot on Jose, that 26 is going to throw it to the inside and take it right back from the 41 of O'Rourke. So these guys swapping for that number 7 position since we went back to the green flag, and as these guys continue to try to single file out and calm down after what was really a wild restart. A little bit of side-by-side back around 10th. The 43 of Doug Roth, who was in 11th, has company. Is the 35 of Chad Schilling going to get around him for that spot, coming out of 2.
Have some really fantastic racing here in the back half of the top 10, but while all that is going on, the top 3 have really started to pull away, and they've kind of spaced themselves out pretty evenly right here. Chad Cole continues to lead. Dwayne Vincent trying to close up that gap, and Bobby Terrell looks like he's just trying to hang on to the draft right now. Really not on that bumper of Dwayne Vincent like we anticipated. Again, we did not get a great restart there under that last caution. As we focus on that battle with the points, we focused on a battle for 4th place as AJ Browning and Scott Stenzel are going to swap positions yet again.
Yeah, it's going to be the 5 machine of AJ Browning going to get around to 42 down to back straightaway on the inside lane. So the 5 of Browning going to move up to P4, and Scott Stenzel in the 42 going to get shuffled back to 5th. How about Jose Gonzalez closing in on these guys in 26 machine? Jose going to pick up another spot after getting around Matt Lacrosse and EJ O'Rourke in these last few laps. Gonzalez going to get to the back bumper of Stenzel. Can't do anything with it. Gonzalez has a fast machine, but is looking for the consistency, and much like the troubles that Chad Cole had earlier in the race, he has the speed, but he just keeps dropping back after having some trouble through the corners. Side by side behind him, 41 machine of O'Rourke to the bottom of the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. They nearly make contact at a turn number 4. 41 of O'Rourke going to have the advantage this time by the stripe as they go into turn number 1, still side by side. 21 trying to hang on up top, can't get it done, going to slide back in line.
And O'Rourke's going to make the pass cleanly, and you were talking about the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Mark him down as a sleeper this week. He was in position to win the big race in Indianapolis last week until late trouble. And then as we see here, he's going to move into the, looks like the 5th position here underneath Scott Stenzel. Going to try to clear him as the 41 of O'Rourke's going to try to follow him up down the front straightaway. The 26 is going to clear Stenzel into 1, but the battle is on behind him. But in the meantime, Jose Gonzalez, he's a very smooth racer. I got to race with him earlier this week on the system at Pocono. Very smooth at what he does. As you said, Evan, he's very consistent. If he could just hang in here, maybe get a late caution, and if he's in the right position on the restart, expect him to do big things at the end of this race here.
Yeah, definitely Jose Gonzalez sitting 4th in the championship standings at this point, looking like a championship is out of reach. Not mathematically eliminated quite yet, but he would really need a Hail Mary in order to get that, but I'm sure he's going to have his eye on trying to advance and maybe get a top 3 before it's all said and done in his 26 machine, as he is currently sitting in the 5th spot. In front of him, everybody really spread out. Race leader Chad Cole in the 8 machine has about 0.4 of a second back to Vincent. Another 0.4 back to Bobby Terrell, and then a big gap back to Browning in the 4th spot.
And we got a caution on the track yet again on lap 51, looking for the incident right now. Looks like it was the 6th car of Bruce Perry. Big trouble with hard contact to the inside retaining wall. Got the car airborne there. Evan, very nasty wreck for the 6th of Bruce Perry here.
He stuffed that thing into the inside wall, and he was in a battle with the 4 machine of Steven Almindo, and maybe he tried to get a little bit too much, clip that wall. And you talk about those corners, the corner exit, it gets real tight, the track gets real tight, and the cars get real loose, and just clip that wall, and that went straight to the inside wall. He locked him up, but a huge impact and just pancake that thing into the inside wall. And as thick black smoke pours out of the back of his machine, we slow him back down and yet again enter the yellow flag for the third caution so far in this evening's event. Chad Cole up in the first position. Second place is the 2 with Dwayne Vincent, and Bobby Terrell in third in the 7 machine. So top 3 going to remain the same. Do we see pit stops? They're all down on the apron. Does anybody fake them out? This time by the 8's in the 2, 7, 5, 26, 41. Everybody inside of the top 10 and looking like everybody on the lead lap going to hit the pit lane this time by.
Yeah, the smart call here is for 4 tires and fuel. And looking back, one other note on that Bruce Perry incident, one of the key points that I made during the race, or during the pre-race show, was how quickly the banking falls off from the corner to the straightaway, not helping the drivers at all when it comes to having grip on the exit of the corner. Bruce Perry fell victim to that here off of turn 2 this last time by. But in the meantime, looking at pit road here, Chad Cole's going to try to beat him off of pit road. He's going to do that with ease, but the battle's on for second. Bobby Terrell's going to move up into the second position, it looks like. And I believe he will. Bobby Terrell's going to move up in position number 2 here. Dwayne Vincent's going to drop back to the third position. A little bit of a shakeup here, Evan, in the top 3 when we come around for the green in about 2 laps.
They were 3 wide for 4th position coming out of the pit lane, so Chad Cole really didn't have the comes from those guys behind him, and they didn't really put up a battle and get up behind him and try to come and take that number 1 spot like they did last time we saw these guys on pit lane. But they definitely were battling for it behind him because, again, 2 wide for second. They were 3 wide for what would be the 4th position, and a whole bunch of cars. And surprisingly, nobody going to get any damage from that. Typically, when you see guys exiting the pit lane as guys are going by, 2, 3 wide, that might get a little bit of damage. But those guys look like they kept it fairly clean. So Chad Cole, no issue in the 8 GameStop Triton Chevrolet is going to remain up in the number 1 spot. It's a little bit fun with a pace car. Light's going to remain on, so at least 2 more circuits around before we go back green.
Yeah, it looks like Chad Cole might be having a little bit too much fun there, but hey, that's good. He's relaxed. If he was all tensed up and worried about this points battle, he wouldn't be doing crazy stuff like that with 77 laps to go here and just over 200 laps left in the season. Chad Cole, Bobby Terrell, 1 and 2 in points, 1 and 2 in positions on the track right now. Both are trying to make a statement. If the race finished this way, this is, other than Bobby Terrell winning the race, this is almost the best case scenario for Bobby Terrell, just finishing right behind Chad Cole. Again, Chad Cole will gain a couple of points, but it'll be to a minimum. Really can't gain that many points, and I'd expect maybe the battle will be maybe around 10 or 11 points going into the final race. And in essence, all Bobby Terrell would have to do at that point would just be able to finish in the top 10 next week at Las Vegas, and he'll be crowned your Icebreaker Series champion.
And definitely, so again, the championship by far is not locked up, but the 7 is looking strong to this point. And again, if you enter Las Vegas, you mentioned with around a 10 or between 10 and 14 points. 14 is the gap that he has right now. That's going to be pretty comfortable because you can really just ride around and, mind your P's and Q's out there on the racetrack and get a solid finish. Now, if we see him get shuffled back, like we have seen with some other guys, and maybe have a little bit of trouble, that could really change the storyline heading towards Las Vegas and to have to close this thing out. So again, a lot still not determined as we pace under lap number 55 of 130. So the halfway point is coming up close in this event. The 8 of Chad Cole going to take us back to the green flag again as lights are off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car. So we're going to come green to take lap number 56, and these last 2 restarts have been pretty shaky throughout the field, so it's going to be fun to see how they negotiate this one.
Yeah, and in the meantime, let's give you a quick field rundown of the top 10. Chad Cole will be first, Bobby Terrell in second, Dwayne Vincent in third, pretty much what we've seen all night. AJ Browning in fourth, EJ O'Rourke in fifth. Jose Gonzalez in the 26th, going to try to make some noise here in the 6th position. Matt Lacrosse in 7th, Chad Schilling in 8th, Jason White in 9th. Doug Roth's going to round out your top 10. Pretty quiet race for Doug Roth so far, but nice to see him up in the top 10 after having some troubles last week. Hope to see him battle for the win here in the closing laps.
The field is going to work through, and now out of turn number 4, the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car with the lights off, going to take the sharp left-hand turn right there down to the pit lane. When does the 8 of Chad Cole go? He's waiting on it. He's on the loud pedal. The green flag flies, and a great start by everybody around him. The only thing that's going to be is we're going to be real tight but into turn number 1 and through 2, side by side for the lead. 7 Machina Terrell's going to drop back. The 2 of Vincent going to move on up to the second position. The 41 of EJ O'Rourke going to try to get around Terrell as well out of the corner as they start to stack up behind him a little bit. 2-3 wide down the back straightaway. They're all able to hang on for the time being as they're real close in the corner. Everybody pointed the right direction for now.
And as we were focusing on that, the 26 of Schilling and the 35 of, the 26 of Jose Gonzalez and the 35 of Schilling made a lot of contact there down the backstretch into turn 3. But while we were focused on that, you guess it, Chad Cole gave up the lead again on another restart, gave it up to Dwayne Vincent. But here comes EJ O'Rourke with a huge run off of turn 2. He's going to look to the inside of Dwayne Vincent and going to get the lead with ease here going into turn 3. Chad Cole followed. Bobby Terrell's in trouble. Big trouble for championship leader Bobby Terrell. 5-10 cars involved in an incident in the middle of 3 and 4. We said anything could happen, and it just did.
Championship leader Bobby Terrell is junked, and the yellow flag gonna fly at the Texas Motor Speedway. And all these scenarios that we have been talking about to this point in tonight's race, Kyle, have just been thrown that curveball. That is part of racing, as your championship leader going to get involved in a major incident in the corner, and he's actually going to be the first car that gets involved in it. It looks like the 36 machine is on his inside, and from the first glance, it looks like Mark Bratcher clearly having the position into the corner, and Terrell just kind of chopped him off. 38, knowing what the 7 is going for, locks up the brakes, gets a couple more cars involved, but the 7 of Terrell's in the wall, the 5, the 26, the 96, the 66, the 51, a whole bunch of cars going to pile on in, but Bobby Terrell, only 14 points over Chad Cole coming into this evening's race, and he just lost more than 14 positions in that wreck, and that is a tough break and possibly a championship deciding moment.
Almost speechless here up in the booth, Evan. I cannot believe what just happened here. Bobby Terrell, all he had to do was play it smart. We're a little bit too aggressive there going into turn 3. I really can't blame Mark Bratchard for that. In the end of the day, I would call it a racing deal. It looked like the 7 came down and chopped the nose off a little bit, but the 38 didn't run on the white line as the 7 anticipated, and the 2 just came together, but the 7's really going to get the bad end of this deal. Very surprising to see Bobby Terrell really make that big of an aggressive move there this early in the race. Yeah, we're about halfway, but still. As we saw how big the draft is, and yeah, he was on the outside. We knew that would be some trouble for some guys at some point in this race, but we did not expect the championship leader, Bobby Terrell. Watching him drive away from this incident, he is crab walking. The whole chassis, the body is not aligned with the 4 tires on the car. Oh man, Evan, I don't know what to say at this point, but the championship is now wide open, not only for Chad Cole, but Dwayne Vincent's looking pretty sporty right now too.
Yeah, this is going to be a big shake-up, and as we gather our thoughts on what just went down, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, more Real Sim Racing Icebreaker Winter Series from Fort Worth. And we are back at the Texas Motor Speedway, doubled up in 3 and 4 with the Real Sim Race Seat Icebreaker Winter Series. Evan Pasoko, Kyle Tarasco at a broadcast booth, and a wild one it has been tonight. And we're getting set for another wild restart. In case you're just joining us, championship leader Bobby Terrell now a lap down on the pit lane after heavy damage to the 7 machine. Green flag at a fly 41 of BJ O'Rourke is going to blow Chad Cole out of the water, catches him sleeping on that restart. Cole going to take sole possession of second, however, in 1 and 2.
And we'll get you caught up here in a couple of minutes with the championship battle, but in the meantime, EJ O'Rourke with a big lead off of turn 2. Here comes the 8 of Chad Cole. EJ trying to break the draft down the back straightaway. Nothing doing for Chad. He ain't intimidated. Chad's going to make up a lot of ground in turn 3. Maybe look for the pass in turn 4. But here comes Chad Cole with a huge run off of 4. He's going to try to look to the outside going into turn 1. Not sure if that's going to work, but nope, they're going to stay single file going into turn 1.
Yeah, you're taking a look at race leader. 4-1 machine to 41 of EJ O'Rourke is under attack from the 8 of Chad Cole, as Cole continuing to try to get to him. He's got a run attitude. Does he look to the inside? No, he's going to give the 41 a little bit of a bump. Entering corner number 3, and now through 3 and 4, single filing back out as Chad Cole almost messed himself up from that contact. He's going to be real slow at a quarter number 4, and EJ O'Rourke is going to be able to re-extend his lead, and Chad Cole loses about half a second, and now the yellow flag and a flag trouble on the track.
Yeah, looking for the trouble on the track right now, but we're still trying to figure out this caution. Looks like maybe the 15 of Rhett McBride. He's smoking on the apron in the bottom of 3 and 4. Going to try to see what happened here. Looks like maybe it was an incident between multiple cars. They were 4 wide off of turn 2. Looked like the 78 got crossed up before that. Yeah, and it was just a 4 wide incident. The 15 got the worst end of that deal. Trying to see who that car was on the inside. Looked like Jose Gonzalez was involved. A lot of front runners who were involved in that last incident with minimal damage. Trying to make up for lost ground here as we're past halfway. And oh man, Evan, things are really picking up here in the big state of Texas.
Yeah, the 15 was made contact 91, trying to hang on to it, sends that 15 machine with a hard lick into the inside wall, and then you talk about Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez trying to get out of the way, and he collects, and looks like the 03 is going to get in the wall as well. 4 is going to get damaged, and nearly takes out Jose, as well as Steven Almindo trying to get through and get back to that. So again, these restarts have been just wicked, and we're not even at the halfway point yet, Kyle. And after that first green flag run, you take a look at the replay there, that was 4 wide. And I mean, the opening laps were still pretty racing. We talked that this is going to be a very aggressive race, that these cars on this track, it's going to be fun. But since we went back green after the first yellow, these guys have been really going at it. And again, some major chase or championship implications rather, and a lot of guys that have been fast at the opening stages in this race finding a way to get into some trouble here, and it's really shaken out how this rest of the season, for that matter, is going to go from here on out.
Now let's take a look here. Let's try to regroup. Let's go back to the first incident. Okay. So I have confirmation that Bobby Terrell, he was told by his spotter going into turn 3, he felt that he was clear. And even after the incident, there was a small dispute between him and the 38 of Mark Bratchard. Terrell felt that he was clear. Bratchard said there was nothing he could do. As I said while we were watching the replay, I just deemed it as a racing deal. But nonetheless, Bobby Terrell still in the garage area getting damage fixed. He's now 5 laps down in the 28th position. That's a 28-point difference right now between Chad Cole and Bobby Terrell. Actually, 27 points. But in the meantime, if the race were to end right now, Chad Cole would have about a 13-point lead on Bobby Terrell going into the last race at Las Vegas. Total 180-degree swing going into this race where Chad Cole was 14 points behind Terrell. And then this should also bring Dwayne Vincent back into the picture because, again, an incident like this, if it could happen at Texas, it could happen at the very treacherous Las Vegas as well. Evan, this is a huge championship implication is what you said. And as you said earlier as well, this is going to change the whole outlook on the end of the season here with one and a half races left at this point.
In a blink of an eye, everything that you thought was going to happen can be twisted around. You talk about the championship battle, doing a possible 180 out of this evening's race. And I mean, that 7 is really torn up. I mean, he is down on the pit lane trying to get damage, but at the end of the day, that thing's not going to get back to 100%.
No, it's not, and at this point he has to points race and try to get as many points as he can, maybe get out there as soon as he can and try to hope for maybe a couple more cautions. In the meantime, the 62 of Josh Chaney and the 5 of A.J. Browning are both on his lap, so if he were to go on the track right now, he would be able to move up into the 26th position, making up a couple of points there. But again, a lot of damage on that 7 car, the Muscle Milk car of Bobby Terrell. Again, this is not what we were expecting out of this race tonight. Yes, we were expecting a close championship battle, but we expect Bobby Terrell to play it safe, not get himself in trouble. And as we see now, the 7 of Bobby Terrell, former points leader now in the RSR Icebreaker Series, he is in huge trouble here as we just passed the halfway point at Texas Motor Speedway.
And nothing is to say that Chad Cole and Dwayne Vincent can't find some trouble now, but it is not looking good for the 7 camp, and you run so consistent all season long, all throughout this series. You get to race 9 and 10, and just an unfortunate racing deal there, go into the corner, and next thing you know, you're going to go from being pretty comfortable the way it was sitting, moving into Las Vegas, going to have to be on the attack, and now you're going to have to take Chad Cole's point of view if it were to finish the way they run right now on the racetrack. We're doubled up and the lights are off atop the Ford First Racing Mustang pace car, so we're going to get set to go back to the green flag. You mentioned we just passing the halfway point in this affair. When we come back green, going to be taking lap number 68 of 130, so typically when you get to the halfway point, the intensity is going to pick up. I don't know how it gets much more aggressive than it's already been right now, but we're going to find out. It's going to be E.J. O'Rourke, and 41 is going to be taking us to the green.
And Chad Cole's going to restart on the outside here. This is one of the few seldom times where Chad Cole's had to restart on the outside rather than on the inside in that pole position. The pace car is off the track. EJ with a big jump here and a clean restart. He's going to pull away to about a 0.3 of a second lead. And then here we see the 2 of Vincent and the 8 of Chad Cole. They're going to go door to door fighting for a championship into turn 1.
Side by side 2 of Vincent on the inside is going to have the advantage over Chad Cole. Cole going to slip back, and now the 21 of Matt Lacrosse is going to let it go at it. They're going to go side by side for the 3rd position now through turns number 3 and 4 as the 04 of Stefan Marinek starts to climb up into this picture. He's been solid all night, but it's really been quiet to this extent in the race, and he's right behind these guys as we still go side by side at the turn number 1 advantage to Lacrosse, and the 21 on the inside is going to clear Chad Cole. 04 of Marinek unable to capitalize. He can't get to the inside, so Chad Cole is able to hang on to that spot. Look at the 35 behind him. That's Chad Schilling. Schilling to the inside is the 21 with a wiggle in front of them. Side by side, 2 rows deep.
Chad Schilling starting to make some noise and putting his name on the papers. He's going to try to make some noise here off of turn 4, bringing himself into the picture. He's going to try to move into a high position here in the top 10, looking for more for the top 5. He's going to look to the outside of Marinek, and he's going to get to the inside of Marinek, and he's going to try to clear him off of turn 2. Door, bumper, and clear. Chad Schilling, the 35, welcome to the top 5.
Chad Schilling, after starting in the 18th position, has been working his way up, but a solid effort with the 35 crew to get to where they are. Their first appearance in the top 5 this evening. Top 2 starting to pull away by nearly 0.7 of a second. It's going to be E.J. O'Rourke by the stripe, but just under 1/10 of a second behind him. The 2 machine of Dwayne Vincent, who almost finding now a newfound spring of hope at his championship battle. Now, if you take Terrell out of the equation, he's only about 20 points or so away from Chad Cole, so it's time to get up and go, says the 2 of Vincent, side by side for the lead in 3 and 4. They get to go at it door to door. The 2 is on the inside. 41 on the outside lane. A little bit of a wiggle, nearly making contact out of the corner. Going to be dead even at the stripe.
That was a lot of contact off of the corner. Kind of reminds you of Brad Keselowski and Jimmy Johnson running here door to door a couple years ago. Dwayne Vincent's going to win the battle this time, but he may not win the war. Here comes O'Rourke, but here comes Chad Cole. O'Rourke up in the wall off of turn 2. Gives Chad Cole the easy position to second place. Chad Cole's going to try to fight back. He's got another huge run on the 2 of Dwayne Vincent. He's going to look for the lead off of turn 4.
Here he goes. He's going to go to the outside is the 8 machine. Chad Cole going to try to make something work for the number 1 spot. Side by side. It's going to die out this time through the front straightaway. 8 looking for a crossover. He's going to pull back in line. Chad Cole now to second. The 41 of O'Rourke now back in third, and it seems like these guys now with Terrell out of the picture to this extent in the race. The 41 of VJ O'Rourke is filling his shoes because the top three trying to pull away as Chad Cole trying to find some way around the 2 of Dwayne Vincent. Vincent protecting the inside lane. 8's going to get right up on that back bumper out of 4.
And he got the 2 really loose there and really wiggled up. Looked like Chad Cole was going to try to go to the inside, but he can't because the 41 is there. I don't think Chad Cole realized that at first. Got really loose there on the entry, almost coming down on the 41, similar to the 7 and the 38 earlier in the race. EJ O'Rourke moves up cleanly into the second position. And while they go side by side, the 35 of Chad Schilling and the 04 of Stefan Merrick, they're going to start creep a little bit closer to the leaders now. And following them, you got the 21, the 30, and the 42, turning into a nice 7 or 8 car battle here for the lead.
Old bumper to bumper up front, about a half a car length separating the drivers that are inside the top 3. 41 of O'Rourke to the back bumper of Dwayne Vincent. He's going to slide back a little bit, and now coming off the corner. No harm, no foul, and nobody's going to gain or lose any distance in that battle of the top 3. You mentioned the 35 of Schilling now up into the 4th spot. The 04 of Stefan Marinak. Marinak at the 04 into the top 5 again. Remember, he is subbing for Frank Coons' machine, so a solid effort right now, sitting in at 5th spot, but we're pushing for second place. The 8 machine of Chad Cole right in the back bumper of that 41 all the way down the front stretch and into the corner. These guys still going at it up front.
But in the meantime, Bobby Terrell has left the building. He is officially retired from the event, had exchanged some more words with the 38 of Mark Bratchard before he walked out. Bobby Terrell, your championship leader entering the event, is officially out of the race.
The 7 team is going to pull that behind the wall, and they are officially out of this race, and Bobby Terrell is just going to leave the racetrack and go right to the motorhome after an upsetting turn of events for sure here at the Texas Motor Speedway. And side by side for second, we talk about how he has been exchanging some words with the driver, the 38 being Bratcher. So just a part of racing, you have to wonder, does anything carry over to next week at Las Vegas? Change of position for second. The 8 of Chad Cole's going to get around EJ O'Rourke. O'Rourke unable to battle, and 35 of Schilling's going to get around him, and Chad Cole's going to go all the way up and now side by side for the lead. Chad Cole going to pick up 2 spots down the front straightaway. He's now back up the P1. How about the 35 of Chad Schilling, though? He's up in third and is looking to battle with Vincent. Can't get it done. Marinak going to get around EJ O'Rourke, and like we've seen all night long, the 41 machine just having trouble hanging off those guys behind him. He's got a fast machine, just looking to find that consistency. The 41's going to drop back to P5.
And how about that 35 of Chad Schilling? Almost out of nowhere in that Panther Chevrolet. Look at him come up through the field, try to get Dwayne Vincent there, but he decided to fall back in line, couldn't get a big enough run. You talk about EJ O'Rourke as now the 35 and the 04 go at it here off of turn 2. Looks like the 04 Marinak's going to get the position, the 41's going to follow. Looks like he's going to get to the inside, and he will get there. Expect Chad Schilling to fall in line here in the 5th position. Still a strong showing for him. But you were talking about EJ O'Rourke, Evan. Again, with the draft and the aero push and the aero looseness. When you are that lead car and you have all those cars pushing all the air away from that spoiler, really loosens the car up. EJ really seems not to like the loose car, but when you fall back in line, it kind of tightens that car up a little bit. So maybe in the closing laps here, if the pit strategy could fall the right way, get some fresh tires and not have to add fuel to the car, take some weight out of the rear and tighten the car up even more, maybe if EJ gets the lead in the closing stages, he'll be able to keep it.
Definitely for sure. Chad Cole up at the front of the field this time by the start-finish line, and scoring's get updated about 0.35 seconds of an advantage over the second place machine of Dwayne Vincent. Vincent having company with the 04 of Marinak. EJ O'Rourke is able to get back to 4th after Chad Schilling in the 35 machine dropping back into the 5th position. So Chad Cole able to breathe a little bit, and that 8 machine looks like he is on track as it looks right now to get maximum points. He has a little lap, and he's looking to lead the most laps for sure, and if he can get that win, he's going to do exactly what he needs to do in tonight's event, especially when you consider the fact that our championship leader is behind the wall and is going to finish no better than 28th position.
Yeah, and Chad Cole, he's really making a statement in the closing laps. There are only 49 laps to go, but he is pulling away, opening up the gap about it by another 1/10 of a second there last time by. He's going to try to do a little bit more. Looks like the 04 and the 2 are going to try to battle here for second, as the 04 Marinak looks to the inside of Vincent, but Chad Cole driving off into the sunset. If this race stays green, not sure if they can make it on fuel or not, But who knows, this may be exactly what the medicine that Chad Cole needed to win this championship.
Continuing to pull away, almost a half of a second advantage over the car in second place is Chad Cole up front in the 8 machine. Green flag conditions on the racetrack right now as we are inside 50 laps to go at the Great American Speedway here in Fort Worth, Texas, and the Texas Motor Speedway. Still bumper to bumper for the second spot. Stefan Marinak just a couple inches off the back bumper of Vincent's back bumper and can't get anything done at a turn. Number one's going to drop back a little bit, regroup, and try to set himself up and try to continue to advance that position. As taking a look through the field, everybody's single file to this point. A little bit of a couple battles going on side by side, or rather bumper to bumper. We do have for the 13th spot between the 36 of Rich Jett and the 43 of Doug Roth. Other than that, everybody single file and currently keeping it nice and green and just trying to log these laps and get down to the final 30 or 20 laps.
We have a caution out on the track. Caution out on the track again, trying to find the incident on the speedway. Kind of surprising to see the caution at this point in the race for how spread out the field was. Still looking to find out what the caution was for, but in the meantime, not exactly what Chad Cole wanted to see. He was driving off into the sunset there, really pulling away from the 2 in the 04 of Vincent and Marinak. And now they're going to have to pit here for green flag, or they're going to have to pit here under caution for pit stops. They should be able to make it the rest of the distance, but it's going to be very close on that fuel window, Evan.
Yeah, trouble's going to find the 9-1 of Steven Maddox down the back straightaway, and similar to what we saw earlier, he came at a 2 side by side 37 and just lost that thing. And he smacked the left side of that machine on the inside wall, nosed it in, and went for a couple of spins, and the 91 is torn up, and he's going to take that thing immediately behind the wall, so his night is done. So just as I was saying, they're going to try to ride this thing out. We're back under yellow. We're going to group them back up with inside 50 to go and see how this thing shakes out as laps continuing to wind down. I'm sure the intensity only going to continue to pick up at this extent in the race, and we're going to see what happens here as leaders working through 3 and 4. Again, Chad Cole still up at the number 1 position as it stands right now. Dwayne Vincent doing what he needs to do. He is sitting in second. And I can tell you, Dwayne Vincent, he wants a win. He doesn't have one yet. And he finished runner-up to Chad Cole last race. And he's going to be looking for the win. But it looks like we're all coming down the pit lane this time. Chad Cole, and he ain't going to lead us down.
Yeah, and a tough break for Steven Maddox there. Turn 2's been a trouble spot. I think that's been the cause of about 3 of our cautions so far tonight. Again, expect 4 tires and fuel here for all the leaders as they come down pit road and creeping at 45 miles an hour. Chad Cole's going to be in that first pit stall again. Should really help him on the exit of pit road with the battle. Dwayne Vincent's going to hit his stall first, 4 tires and fuel, and all the leaders follow behind.
So they are down the pit lane. 8 machine Chad Cole in that last pit box to the attention of his crew. The 29 machine of Brennan Mercer is going to not be able to find his pit box and is going to leave first. Vincent, however, is going to beat Chad Cole out of the pit lane. We have a change for the lead.
And that could change really the outlook of this finish here. Big disadvantage to start on the outside here, especially in that second position. Dwayne Vincent with that big restart box going to start on the inside in the lead. Chad Cole not as good of a spot as what he was about 45 seconds ago. But Dwayne Vincent looking really good right now to maybe, if he could hang on, to get that first win of the season.
I'm sure that's something that Vincent is going to want to get done this evening. So under the yellow flag, Kyle, now we are within 50 laps to go, just about 44 or so remaining to this extent in the race. Dwayne Vincent going to be in the number 1 position. The 5 of AJ Browning in front of our race leader hitting the pit lane. He's a couple of laps down. Nathan Bowers exiting the pit lane as well. So top 3 really going to remain the same. We now have the 04 machine up in the mix. That's Stefan Marinak. Marinak substituting for Frank Coons. And his machine, the 41 of EJ O'Rourke, has really been there all race long. Some guys, again, that we saw them up front and started to fade away. Jose Gonzalez in the 26 machine, I do believe. Remember, he's been up front all race long, slid back. He's starting to work his way back up. He is sitting in 8th position, so not too far away. He's going to be starting on the outside. And as we've seen on these restarts so far this evening, really the key to nailing that restart is going to be the inside lane. And if you have a good starting position, you can really pick up a bunch of spots there when we go green.
Yeah, but I just want to focus on real quick, because we're kind of going through a rundown here, the number 30 car of Jason W. White in that beautiful Bass Pro Shop Chevy. He's been hanging in the top 10 all race, very consistent, was able to avoid the big wreck involving Mark Bratcher and Bobby Terrell. Just want to give a shout out to him and the number 30 team, really putting on a good consistent run this week, exactly what that team needed as we close out the season here.
Definitely, not only is this race starting to come to a close, but again, this evening's event is the penultimate race in this 2013-2014 RSR Icebreaker Winter Series campaign. And under the yellow flag, again, this race has been no exception to what we come to expect every week here on the Monday Night Series, and that is some intense racing. And I gotta be honest, going into last week's race at Indianapolis, wasn't expecting much, but these guys were able to make a show out of it coming down to that finish. And this race tonight has just been non-stop entertainment, lights off on a pace car. We're getting set for another wild restart. This time, it's going to be the 2 of Dwayne Vincent sitting P1, Chad Cole going to be shuffled out to second, and going to be starting on the outside of row number 1.
Now it's going to be very interesting to see how Chad Cole handles himself here on the outside. If you remember, I know you guys are probably getting annoyed with me to keep bringing up Bobby Terrell, but he was in that second position on the outside when he fell back and got into that accident. You don't want to see that happen to Chad Cole. Maybe Dwayne Vincent wants to see that, because if that happens, that really brings Vincent back into the race, and we may even have a 3-way tie or something very close to it going into the last race of the season. But Chad Cole just has to mind his P's and Q's here. Just take whatever's given to him. Try to fall back in line as soon as he can. But he cannot push the issue here on this restart. It's going to be very difficult. It's going to be a little bit frustrating. Have not seen the second place car be able to retain the lead off of turn 2 with a run here yet. Maybe Chad Cole will be the first car tonight, but do not expect that to happen yet. Just got to hope that he could fall in line in a comfortable spot, maybe somewhere in the top 5, work his way up back through the field, maybe go after the win, but if he can't go after the win, at least a decent finish.
Here we go. Dwayne Vincent control cars. The pace car hits the pit lane. 2 is on the loud pedal. The green flag flies. Chad Cole going to get left sleep it again on the outside lane. Can the 04 of Marinac get to his inside? Can't get it done, so not going to go side by side for the second. Side by side behind them as Dwayne Vincent pulls away. 41 machine of EJ O'Rourke had the start on the outside lane, and it's showing 21's going to get around him, and the 30 machine of Jason White, who started in 8th position, able to get to the inside with Jose Gonzalez as well. So 41 of O'Rourke continuing to have problems, just can't keep his positions nice and steady. He's going to be on the top lane trying to hold these guys off at a turn 2. 26 is on the inside. Gonzalez with some pushing from Rich Jett behind him, and they're trying to get around O'Rourke into 41. But as these guys continue to go side by side, all those guys up front in a single file line right now continue to pull away, but they've really sucked back up to Vincent. Vincent got a huge jump with that draft. Chad Cole's knocking back on that door in 3.
And in the meantime, EJ O'Rourke has really dropped off here. He drops outside the top 10 behind Mark Bratchard. He's going to fall in line in front of Scott Stenzel, gets loose there. But there's a battle for the lead up in the front. 4 cars between Dwayne Vincent, Chad Cole, Stefan Marinac, and Chad Schilling. But it looks like that's a 21 of Lacrosse on the outside. He's going to try to make a run in it. 5 cars going for the lead here off of turn 2.
Chad Cole to the inside, out of the corner, side by side for first, side by side for third behind them. Into the corner, Chad Cole going to get it. Dwayne Vincent going to slide in line. The 2 going to drop back to second. 35 of Chad Schilling up to P3, continuing his charge to the front of the field. 21 of Matt Lacrosse on the inside of the 04 of Marinac as well. He's going to get around him, so Marinac going to drop back to 5th now. 21 of Lacrosse is in 4th. 35 of Schilling in 3rd. Vincent in 2nd, trying to hold off Schilling behind him, and Chad Cole in the 8th back to P1.
And how about the Carolina kid of Chad Schilling really putting on a show for the fans? He's the Cinderella favorite right now. He's up in the 3rd position, battling with these 2 championship favorites at the moment. Chad Cole's going to try to pull away here, but there are 5 cars, single file up in the front. Chad Schilling's really going to try to make a move here. Very interesting to see if he's going to have to try to be aggressive here, but he's a little bit not aggressive enough, because the 21 of Matt Lacrosse is going to sneak to his inside, and the 04 Stefan Merrick is going to try to follow him.
Yeah, Marinac is going to come in tow with the 21 of Lacrosse to the inside lane. 35 Chad Schilling going to drop back right there. You see him in the 2nd groove of the racetrack. He's going to now back and drop to the 5th position. How about EJ O'Rourke of the 41 machine? Been up front all night and finds himself back in 9th position as they run right now. Still single file inside of the top 5, and it's starting to turn into a 6-car battle. Here comes Jose Gonzalez after getting caught up in one of those incidents at a turn number 2 after running up front all race, got shuffled back, got damage from that, starting to climb his way back up, and he sure is going to be looking for that top 5 spot as he starts to close in on Schilling for that 5th spot.
For the second week in a row, the 26 of Jose Gonzalez fighting adversity right now. He was involved in that wreck last week when they went 3 wide into turn 3, and he was involved in another wreck tonight when they were 3 wide down the back straightaway. Back up here in the 6th position, really putting on a show, but the 2 of Dwayne Vincent is going to try to put on even a bigger show up in the lead. He looked to the inside of the 8 of Chad Cole down the back straightaway, could not get a big enough run to complete the pass, but for the 3rd position, Stefan Marinak, he's going to get the 21 arrow loose coming off of turn 4. As at 21, he slid way up out of the groove close to the wall. The 04 is Stefan Marinak. He's going to clear the 21, but some contact there, almost an incident. Great save by the 04, but they're going to continue to battle, and now the battle's on for the lead.
Battle on for the lead as the 21 and the 04 exchange pleasantries down the back straightaway. The 2 of Dwayne Vincent now back up to the number 1 spot. Chad Cole gonna not able to hold him off, and Chad Cole in the 8 machine now gonna drop back into the 2nd position, but not far off as he is closing back in on the back bumper of the 2 machine. So single file now throughout the top 5 again, and a car length separate the battle for the lead and the battle for what is the 3rd spot between the 04 of Marinak and the 21 machine of Matt Lacrosse. Chad Cole is right on the back bumper of Dwayne Vincent, so Cole in the 8 machine, fast as always, trying to get around Dwayne Vincent. We know Dwayne Vincent wants this win as badly as Chad Cole does, and they're going to push down the front stretch into 1.
And not only does Dwayne Vincent want this win, he needs this win. He needs to make a statement. Even if he doesn't even win this championship, at least he could leave the series saying he finished top 5 in points. He got a win. It's not easy to win on the iRacing system. It's especially not easy to win in this competitive series. Dwayne Vincent really needs to make a statement here and win this race, but he can't go about to wreck himself out of it either, because even though it still may be a long shot, he is in strong contention for this championship with 1 race to go.
At the 04 of Stefan Marinak continuing to close in on our leaders. The 8 machine of Chad Cole is going to the inside, and we're going to go at it side by side down the back straightaway. Chad Cole going to go back to the lead. Can the 04 of Marinak get there? Not quite. Dwayne Vincent in the 2 machine hesitant of coming down in front of the 04 machine. Do we go side by side? No. Vincent going to shut the door. The 2 back to 2nd place, and they continue to swap that lead position up at the front of this field.
And Marinak, he's going to try to look at it inside again. Dwayne Vincent may be coming off of turn 3, but looks like he's going to push it a little bit off of turn 2 here, fall back into the clutches of the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. That gives Dwayne Vincent an opportunity to pull away from these guys a little bit and try to reel back in the 8 of Chad Cole. I expect at the end of the race, if it to stay green, the wind to come down between the 21, the 04, the 2, and the 8. These seem to be the 4 strongest cars when it counts, and these guys are going to battle for a win in the closing stages here at Texas.
Yeah, this thing is going to come down to the closing laps, and they keep swap-swapping that number 1 spot. They keep exchanging that because of the draft that we talked so much about in tonight's event, and it really does have a determining factor in the outcome of this thing. And you see Dwayne Vincent about 2 or 3/10 of a second off of Chad Cole right now, which is about 4 car lengths. I'm sure he's going to be back up there within these next few laps and battling back for the number 1 position. So it's almost like a game of chess. You're going to have to time when you want to make that move. When we come down to these final laps, coming to the checkered flag, you're going to have to time when you want to make that move so that you're able to get the number 1 spot and you don't give those guys behind you an opportunity to try to cross you back over for the win.
And Evan, the same question I asked you last week, I'm going to ask you again. Last lap coming off of turn 2, do you want to be the leader, or do you want to be in 2nd position and try to slingshot around? Because if you're in the 2nd position, if you could get to the inside of the leader, it's very unlikely that he's not going to have a chance to win this race, and the 2nd place car should be able to prevail. But if the 2nd place car falls way back like he is right now, as the 04 Marinak is falling looking to the inside now, if you cannot get to the leader's bumper coming off of turn 2, and you had another opportunity earlier in the race to get by him, is it really worth laying back and trying to stay in that 2nd position, or just go for the lead now and try to hang on?
you're going to have to time that perfectly if you want to be in second spot. You mentioned where those guys in second are right now. The 04 of Aranac is side by side for third behind us with the 2 machine of Vincent having company with the 21 of Matt Lacrosse. Vincent able to hang on. If you're in that second position, you don't want to be where Marinac is, 0.4 of a second back. You want to be within at least 3 car lengths. And I do think that if you're that close, you don't want to be the car in the front because you're kind of in a defenseless position. The top lane, yeah, you can make it work up there, but the inside lane's going to have a hell of a run, and you don't want to overdrive that thing because you got a wall next to you coming out of turn number 4. So it's all going to depend on how close these guys are when it comes down to it, as Marinac continuing to try to wheel in Chad Cole. Marinac trying to reel in Chad Cole in the number 1 spot. He's about 0.3 of a second off right now as Dwayne Vincent tries to make up for lost to ground, and you really lose a lot of time when you go side by side for, and that's why we see Vincent back where he is to this extent.
Yeah, and look, you gotta think maybe Dwayne Vincent, he used his tires up a little bit too quick there battling with Chad Cole, but a kid who's been waiting in the back for something big to happen, and that is Stefan Marinac, kind of hanging on the cusp of the outside so far during the race tonight. And he's really making his moves right now. The last couple of laps, just a little bit, he's been reeling in that 8 car of Chad Cole, which is 24 laps to go. Maybe he could time it right. There's still plenty of time for him to catch the leader. I think if the race stays green, I think he will. And who knows, maybe Stefan Marinac, who's not even in the championship battle, he may have something to say about this championship points lead when it's all said and done.
He can definitely be a factor in where this all shakes out because he's right in between those guys that, as it sits right now unofficially, are going to be the guys 1 and 2 of the championship standings, considering our well-documented troubles that championship leader Bobby Terrell has had. Again,
whoa, and big trouble for Marinac off of turn 4. Big trouble. Way in the grass. He just, oh man, he is, the 04 Marinac, he is, looks like he broke something in the right front there coming off of turn 4, hit the wall hard, really pushed up off of the corner. Sorry to break you up there, Evan, but man, that just really caught my eye. Stefan Marinac, we were just talking about him to really make a big moves here at the end of this race to maybe be in position to win, and it looks like that opportunity just went out the window as he hit the wall hard off of turn 4, and that gives Chad Cole about an 0.8 of a second lead here, make that 0.9 of a second here with about 20 laps to go.
Yeah, definitely the 04 machine is not at 100% with the right side damage. He's back to 6th and is going to lose some more spots. Tough break, and that's the outside wall that I was talking about. You don't want to overdrive it, and he knew that he was in trouble. He got out of the gas, turned the thing all the way left, but it just did not have enough time to avoid that contact. And now, this looks like it's setting up for Chad Cole. Chad Cole is going to use a little bit of a run here for the 5 of AJ Browning. He'll get a little bit of draft as the 5 machine, 8 laps down. That's Browning, a lap machine, going to get around him. Dwayne Vincent is a second back, and he's losing ground because Vincent no longer has a car that's in between him and Cole to draft off of. He's going to have to try to draft off Cole, who's over a second ahead, and that's not really going to work out. If you're Dwayne Vincent, he's not going to get any benefit from the draft as he works around the 5 machine right now. So unless we get a caution, it's Chad Cole's race at this extent to lose at this point up front.
And the last 2 times by, Chad Cole has opened that lead up 1/10 of a second each time by. Last time it was 1 second, now it's 1.1 seconds. Maybe next time it might be 1.2 or 3. Chad Cole, this is lining up to fall in his lap. This is exactly what he needed as we close the race out here. Just going to be 18 laps to go this time by. And Chad Cole, again, we've been saying it all night. How many times have I said it, you said it, Evan, that Chad Cole has to make a statement? He's making a statement right now.
He is doing exactly what he needs to do. And at the top of the show, you said that he's going to have to come out. He's going to have to get max points and win this race to make a statement. And he's doing just that. He has led a lap. He's currently led the most laps. And he's currently sitting P1 as he continues to just inch away from Dwayne Vincent now. Inside of 20 laps to go. This time by the start-finish line, going to be 17 laps remaining in this affair. Still a possibility. We don't mind grouping everybody back up, but as it looks right now, again, Chad Cole in total domination, going to pick up another 1/10 of a second that time by. So now it's 1.2 seconds separating the top 2 drivers in this race, and Chad Cole, again, really benefiting from the troubles with Bobby Terrell, and it almost sounds like we're beating a dead horse, but just still an unbelievable turn of events that is really going to shake things out in the championship standings, no matter what happens in these final 16 laps or so this time by the stripe moving forward to the final race.
And Dwayne Vincent and Matt Lacrosse, they're going to go side by side. Almost had some lap traffic getting in the way there, but Dwayne Vincent's going to give up to second position to Matt Lacrosse. While things are a little bit calm here in the closing laps, let's just give you a quick field rundown. Chad Cole, 2.5 lead last time by over Dwayne Vincent. That's now Matt Lacrosse in second, Dwayne Vincent in third. Mark Bratchard recovering from an incident where he and Bobby Terrell got involved about halfway through this race. He's in fourth. Jose Gonzalez recovering to fifth. Chad Schilling, he's having a fantastic run this evening into sixth position. E.J. O'Rourke, we were talking about him, one of the major players up in the front earlier on in the race. He's fell off a little bit in the closing stages at Texas. He's in seventh. Jason W. White continuing to stay consistent in eighth. Scott Stenzel in ninth. Stefan Marinek, just about 5 or 10 laps ago, was battling for the lead with Chad Cole. He drops to the 10th position after hitting the wall off of turn 4. Doug Manning, Brennan Mercer, Brian Harvey, Scott Simley, Doug Roth ran out your top 15. Nathan Bowers and Douglas Wyatt, they ran out the cars still on the lead lap.
Several drivers having some troubles tonight, and some big names in there, including Browning, Almindo, Terrell. So several guys a lap down. 17 drivers remain on the lead lap at this point in this race as Chad Cole, they went side by side for a second. Chad Cole just keeps on cruising with the cruise control on up at the front of the field. Autopilot, you might want to say, in the 8 machine. And he's now 2 seconds in front of this battle that's still going on for the second spot. Dwayne Vincent in the 2 is dropped back to third after Lacrosse has got around him. And you never know, that could be a position that comes down to determining this championship. So that 2 machine going to really want to get that spot back. We're going to go side by side at a 2 down the back.
Yeah, the 2 of Dwayne Vincent, he has to fight for as much real estate as he could grab right now. He's going to go side by side with Lacrosse on the inside of him, coming off of turn 4. He should be able to get a run here and make it work, but Lacrosse is going to try to carry the momentum. He's going to beat Dwayne Vincent to the line that time by. He's going to clear him into turn 1. Dwayne Vincent's going to have to regroup and try again, but as many times as he tries to get on the inside of that 21, Chad Cole just gets further and further away. But even the bigger story, the 38 of Bratchard, and he's bringing the friends of Gonzalez and Schilling into the picture. This could be a 5-car battle for second place here if Dwayne Vincent is not too careful.
Those guys starting to close in on them. 38 of Bratchard and the 26 of Gonzalez almost in their own 2-car battle. How about Jose Gonzalez again? He was been up front that entire opening section of this race after qualifying in 7th and got involved in one of those incidents. He was 10th when he went back green. He's up to the top 5. So the 26 machine definitely doing what he needs to do to try to close in. Meanwhile, they still go at it for second. However, that's going to have to go on a temporary timeout as they work around lap traffic. So Vincent has to get off the outside of the 21, get back in line, and take another shot at this thing. So they're still staying pretty racy for that second position. Meanwhile, Chad Cole now 3.2 seconds away from the second place. The 8 machine blow him out of the water inside of 10 laps to go.
And we're going to continue to focus on the second place battle, not really missing anything up in the front. Chad Cole almost 3.5 second lead right now. Just about 5 laps ago, that was a 1.5 second lead. Really opening up, as Evan said, blowing out the waters here. Chad Cole, again, unless something happens out of his control, other than lap traffic or what. Trouble there. Big trouble going into turn 1.
Machine and nearly ran him over, and I think they're able to hang on to it.
Oh man, that really sparked our seats, didn't it, Evan? Man, that looked like the 03 there just could not get out of the way in time for the battle between a 21 and a 2. Really shook things up there for a second. He got the wall hard, was able to straighten things out, but he's going to continue to keep going straight. The track stays green. There's about 7 laps to go here. Matt Lacrosse continues to hang on to that second position.
And that could have been a race-changing incident, so I mean, wow, just 03 machine a lap down. Obviously not the strongest car on the track, was unable to stay out of the way, nearly caught the 21, and I'm surprised he got into the outside wall, and I'm surprised he did not spin that thing. I was getting ready to group these guys back up for another restart. Side by side for second now. 2 machine of Dwayne Vincent to the inside of Matt Lacrosse as Jose Gonzalez starts to close in on these guys, and it's going to become a 3-car battle for the second position in these closing laps. And Two Machida Vincent's going to get it over Matt Lacrosse into turn number 1. So Vincent back up the P2. Wants to hang on to that in these closing laps.
Dwayne Vincent doing everything he can to get every point that he can. He's going to block the 21 of Lacrosse. Big block. Wow, that was a huge, very defensive down into turn 3 on Matt Lacrosse. Dwayne Vincent, oh man. But Lacrosse is going to really loosen him up here. Get right underneath that rear bumper and the spoiler. And now Dwayne Vincent's going to move way up the track here. Lacrosse is going to get under him. The 26 of Gonzalez is going to look to follow. And don't count out that 35 of Schilling. They might go 3 wide here off of turn 2.
They're looking at it. 26 of Gonzalez is on the inside. Is he going to stick the nose out? He is. 26 of Gonzalez trying to get the inside position on Matt Lacrosse. Can't quite get there. We're going to remain side by side for a second. Dwayne Vincent needs to be careful. He doesn't want to take himself out of this championship. Going for it. He's going to cross over the 21 machine of Lacrosse. Can't quite get to the inside this time by the stripe. 5 laps to go. Vincent is back to third. 26 of Gonzalez takes a look to the inside. Can't get it done. 26 reluctant to get the nose in there. Knowing what the 2 machine is battling for, Vincent pushes up wide out of the corner. And now back to fourth is the 2 machine of Dwayne Vincent. 35 of Chad Schilling going to get around him again. And Dwayne Vincent going to drop back into the 5th position.
Still not missing anything up in the front. 5.5 second lead for the A of Chad Cole. Matt Lacrosse is going to clear the field right now. He's going to fall in the 2nd position. Chad Schilling was able to get around the 2 of Vincent. Dwayne Vincent, he was just second 2 laps ago. He's going to drop back to the 5th position. Now only 4 laps to go in the race. He's going to try to make up a couple of those points that he just gave up here.
And those could be crucial points coming down to this championship. And he's going to be able to get back up to these guys before it's all said and done. So we're going to have to see if Vincent can do anything with it. Jose Gonzalez can't do anything on the inside of Matt Lacrosse. Got there in 3 and 4. Is going to slide back, unable to seal the deal. How about the 35 of Chad Schilling back over to this picture? He's going to go at it side by side for third now as he's door to door with Jose Gonzalez through 1 and 2. Jose into 26. Going to drop back, slide in line in front of Dwayne Vincent out of the corner. So Chad Schilling now up into the 3rd spot. And these guys are going to stay pretty racy for this 2nd position. Schilling going to throw it into the corner, trying to get up to Matt Lacrosse. Dwayne Vincent getting held up by the 26 of Jose Gonzalez. Coming out of turn number 4. Meanwhile, race leader Chad Cole's already coming out of turn number 2. 2 laps to go.
How cool is this to see the 35 of Chad Schilling battle up here in the front? Not for the lead, but he's battling for 2nd. 6 seconds off of Chad Cole. He's going to look to try to get a run here off of turn 2. Not a big enough run to complete the pass. But someone who did get a big run there was a 2 of Dwayne Vincent, but also he could not get to the inside of Jose Gonzalez. He's going to try to get the 4th place position back off of turn 4.
The white flag is in the air for race leader Chad Cole, well up in front of these guys by 6 seconds. Side by side for second now into turn number 1. Chad Schilling in the 35 trying to complete this charge to the front after starting 18th. He's going to go door to door with Matt Lacrosse. Here comes Jose Gonzalez. Jose, 35 is going to block him down the back straightaway, hanging on to 2nd place. Jose Gonzalez going to slide up 2 rows deep of side-by-side contact with the 35 and 21. It's going to be Chad Cole taking the checkered flag. Who's it going to be for 2nd? Coming to the stripe, more contact. Chad Schilling going to get 2nd. Matt Lacrosse in 3rd. Dwayne Vincent 4th. Jose Gonzalez coming home 5th. And lost in all that battle is Chad Cole's already in turn 3. He beat these guys by 7 seconds. A dominating performance by the 8 machine of Chad Cole in those closing laps, and he's going to victory lane, going to make it back-to-back W's.
Talk about Chad Cole after the emotional win last week in Indianapolis. He's able to back that up and take advantage of the trouble of Bobby Terrell. Able to take control of the championship lead right now. We're going to take a quick commercial break here on LSRTV, and we're going to come back with post-race interviews with your winner, Chad Cole.
We are delighted to announce that the new Red Bull Air Race World Championship will take to the air and will be back in 2014.
There we have it, 2014, ladies and gentlemen.
And we're back at the Texas Motor Speedway, the great American Speedway located here in Fort Worth, Texas. And we're back, and after a thrilling finish, I have caught up with Chad Schilling down here on the pit lane. And Chad, where did you come from in that 35 machine? We know you started in 18th and you solidly worked your way up through the field, and walk us through those closing laps where you were able to get around La Crosse and get P2.
Yeah, I tell you what, guys, that was some of the most fun I have had in this league probably ever. Just some great racing. I mean, great guys to race with, obviously, and such a great series. You know, what a fun setup. I mean, it's just really fun, kind of working through the field a little bit, and just kind of dodging the accidents and slowly kind of making it up. And I'd tell you what, just a great finish and a great racing with these good guys out there running.
Definitely, and this is a different qualifying procedure the second week in a row that they've done it here with an open qualifying, rather 20 minutes with everybody out there on the racetrack. What was your take on that?
Yeah, no, it was a neat difference. I think it was fun. I mean, the challenge now is you got to find somebody to draft with, certainly at these bigger tracks like this, to get a good speed and a good time. And I've never been real good at qualifying anyway, so it certainly just helps me if I can get somebody to help me kind of get to that front. So.
And definitely, and looking forward at a solid second place finish. You mentioned it was a real fun race, and it was really entertaining for us to talk about, and fairly clean for the most part. And the intensity level was definitely up there. And you talked about going down through those final 2 laps and being able to get it after a side by side and door to door battle to the checkered flag. I mean, what's your summary on the night overall?
Yeah, no, those final 2 laps were, and even really the last 10 or so, I kind of got up there and really burned that right front up quite a bit. So I was trying to let it cool down and take a charge at him again. And, racing Matt there at the end, he and I were just talking before. I mean, just great, clean racing there at the end. And, that's the way you like to do it. I mean, I need to go change my shirt after this. I think I've sweat down and it's time for a shower. So that was fantastic, though.
Definitely 10-4. Well, congratulations on that second place finish. You put on a show for us for sure. Any sponsors or shout outs you want to throw out there? Who makes it happen for the 35 team?
Yeah, thanks. I'd just like to thank certainly the sponsors for the league and RSR, certainly Chad Cole and Joey Gattina do a great job putting this thing together, and just the great guys that are running out here as well. And my team is #Motorsports. Certainly want to give a shout out to those guys and good teammates I have out there as well. So, and to you guys as well. Thanks for it's fun to watch the broadcast. You guys do a great job in the broadcast. It's fantastic.
Definitely 10-4. Thank you, and again, thanks for putting on a show. And maybe we'll look forward to seeing you at Vegas up front again.
Yeah, 10-4, definitely, guys.
That is Chad Schilling. He's going to come home in the second position in his number 35 machine. And now we're going to go down to Victory Lane with Kyle Tarasca, and he's caught up with Chad Cole, going to make it back-to-back wins.
And yes, that is back-to-back wins, Chad Cole. Congratulations yet again. Last week it was a very emotional win for you, and then here you are merely making a statement and backing up the win. Congratulations on the win tonight at Texas.
Thanks, man. I tell you something. I just love these beat cars. I tell you, I didn't get a chance to run them Thursday. I think I told you this last Monday, but I'll tell you again. I didn't get a chance to run the Thursday series that runs this B car, and they are just a blast. I love this winter series so much, and it's just some good racing. There's so much draft, and there's some really good quality racing with EJ, Dwayne, Stefan, so many guys out there. Kind of get up there, get past, and I'd fall right back, and it's kind of yo-yoing it up, and it was really fun race.
You did everything you had to do tonight. You started on the pole, you led the most laps, and here you are with a dominating fashion, winning the race by almost 7 seconds. Now, I got to ask you about the points battle now. Last week, you were going into the race 14 points back, and I think when it's all said and done, once we are waiting for the official standings to be posted, but we think they're going to be about 15 points ahead of Bobby Terrell, almost a 30-point swing. How aware were you when the incident happened between Bobby Terrell and Bratchard in the back of the pack? How aware were you that had happened, and how much did your mentality change towards the outcome of the race?
I didn't know about the wreck until they kind of started exchanging words in the game there, and I try to keep a pretty level head throughout and try not to change the way I race. I just try to race smart and be there at the end, and it if I had to finish second, I would. It wouldn't be a problem. But I mean, just try to race the same way I do as always. Even though that I knew that he got wrecked in the back of my mind.
Well, Chad Cole, you made another fantastic statement here tonight at the Texas Motor Speedway, going back-to-back wins in back-to-back weeks. Chad, congratulations on the win. You are now the new points leader in the RSR Icebreaker Series heading into the last race at Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm going to try to not get my head too big, kind of, I guess, same thing that happened to Bobby tonight could happen to me next week, so I'm just going to have to play smart and have a good race next week. I don't know where we are, but I think it's Vegas next week, so it's always a fun track, and we're going to put in another good show for you guys.
Well, once again, congratulations, Chad Cole, winner at Texas Motor Speedway in the number 8 GameStop Chevrolet. Now, Evan, I think you caught up with our third-place finisher, Matt Lacrosse.
You definitely were here with Matt Lacrosse on the pit lane as we put up there on the screen the replay, those closing 2 laps. And Matt, first and foremost, talk to us about that battle there coming down to the checkered flag.
Yeah, I saw Jose and Dwayne and Chad behind me, and I was just doing my best to try to run my line. Chad got a pretty good run off 3 and 4 coming to take the white flag, and I didn't want to let him get in underneath me going into 1. But I kind of let him have it. I thought I was stronger in 3 and 4, but them bumps in 1 and 2, man, you got to hit them just right or it'll shoot you up the track. So that was that. I mean, a good run. I was up there most of the time. Didn't really make too many mistakes. I made a couple, but yeah, overall, it was a good run. Had a good time. Most fun I've probably had in quite some time, actually.
Definitely, you got to look at the championship picture a little bit. Entering tonight 12th, you may be looking for a top 10 to close things out. 130 laps. It looked pretty racy up here. What was the race like from behind the wheel?
Oh man, it was fun. Typical Texas, exciting. Lots of two wide racing. People, just racing hard, and that's pretty much league wide here. Anywhere you go, it's going to be like that. And as far as the points go, I had the worst first 5 races in my life, so I don't think I broke the top 20. Got wrecked in every race. So, but the last 4, I finished with 3 or 4 consistent top 5s. So, if I could just done the second half, what I did the first half instead, man, I'd be looking pretty.
You talk about that, a solid effort in these last few races. What are you looking forward to next week when we close things off in Las Vegas?
I'm looking probably to just have a good time, man. Racing here is fun. I got a great team at Fearless Racing. Hippie Doug over there is a riot, and all the guys over there have a great time. So I just like racing here, and I can't wait for the Full Throttle Cup Series to start up, and it's gonna be a good time.
And definitely, we're taking a look at your Sharp number 21 machine there up on the screen. Any sponsors and shout outs you want to throw out there? The mic's all yours.
I'd like to thank Quick Car Racing Products, Hippie's Paint Shop, you guys up in the booth at LSRTV. You guys do a great job. Laura pushing all the buttons. You and Kyle and Evan, you guys do a great job. All the teammates over at Fearless Racing, great guys to be around. Have a good time.
And definitely, we'll look forward for you in the top 5 again next week at Las Vegas, and congrats on the top 3.
Thanks, Evan. Appreciate it.
That's going to do it down here from the pit lane, Kyle, and to quickly wrap things up here after a wild night, to say the least, at the Texas Motor Speedway. What's your take on tonight's race?
Well, everything that Chad Cole could have possibly did, he did, and then some. He had Lady Luck was on his side tonight with the unfortunate incident of Bobby Terrell. He says he's going to try to keep a level head. He sounds pretty realistic about his chances right now. He's fully aware that what happened to Terrell tonight could definitely happen to him next week, as he's going to go into Las Vegas with a similar points lead to what Bobby Terrell had here at Texas. The points battle is on. Dwayne Vincent still has a shot at this too, but I really think it's the championship battles in Chad Cole's hands, something totally different than what we were talking about this time last week after Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's really going to make a switch, and Chad Cole is no stranger to being at the top of the championship standings. Again, he is the 2013 Full Throttle Cup Series champion, and he was here for 36 races on Monday nights, and that's why he was talking about unable to do the B cars on the Thursday night with the B Series, the Asphalt Assault Series here with RSR. So he's looking fast in these things too, and he's going to be looking to close it out. And oh, by the way, the guys that finished 1-2 in that series as well includes Dwayne Vincent. So nothing is said and done, but a big turn in the championship standings. Exiting Texas is going to put Chad Cole up to the number 1 spot, and looking to wrap things up next week when we say let's go racing from the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So for my broadcast partner, Kyle Tarasca, joining me up at the broadcast booth, Laura Lawson, for like many of the drivers going through some adversity tonight to make sure we stayed on the air and got everything done, for pushing all the buttons and moving the cameras down there. My name is Evan Pizzoku. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week at Las Vegas.